Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Take Data Engineer. So today we will see Spark context and a Spark session in PySpark. Okay, why we are using and how to create that and all. Okay, so Spark context is nothing but that is the main entry point of a Spark functionality. Okay, so this is Spark context and a Spark session in earlier version like Spark 1.0 version we have for different functionality like Spark SQL we have different context. Hype we have different context like hype context and all. But later what happened for 2.0 version and now onwards we have one unified we can say Spark sessions. We are not creating the Spark context, we are creating the Spark session instead of Spark context for most of the interactions, because Spark session is the unified entry point for higher level Spark API introduced in Spark 2.0 and onwards. But this Spark session, this is available with Spark 2.0 and higher version for higher level Spark API. For lower level Spark API, we had earlier with 1.0 we have a Spark context, Hive context for different things. Okay, so a Spark context was suppose you have to write to data frame DAF or SQL or Hive related. So for different things we have to create the different Spark context. But now this is Spark session is one of the unified we have to create for you can running your application. First you need to create your session. Okay, like data frame SQL and all. Okay, so how we are creating with help of how we are creating Spark context. Okay, first we will see. So what we have to, from PySpark we have to import a Spark context and a Spark config. Then we have to do configuration like Spark conf app name, we have to pass your name and set master. Either you are running through local or any other resource manager like Kubernetes or whatever you are managing, you can manage, and whatever configuration file you have to set, you can set it. So this is the way to create your Spark context through earlier version. Now in Spark 2.0 version we are creating the Spark session instead of a Spark context. So same we have PySpark.sql module, we are creating the Spark session. Then Spark session builder method we are using. Basically here we are giving the name of your application, then master it is local or it is any cluster manager like Kubernetes and all, and then get or create. If it is already Spark session is created, it is giving that, and if it is not, then we have to create. So this is the like you can say this is the code snippet we are using for creating a Spark snippet, a Spark session, and this is for a Spark you can say context. So we have one questions like is the Spark context a Spark session same? No, Spark context and Spark sessions are not the same in PySpark. They have they have different purpose and are used to different level of abstraction within the Spark applications. So Spark context basically is the main entry point for low level Spark API in a Spark version prior to 2.0, what I already discussed. So Spark context basically we are using for low level Spark interaction, and that we are using like prior to 2.0 version. Okay, they like it's like they have features like managing the connections to a Spark cluster, controls the distributed data, handle tasks like scheduling, memory management and all, or initializing some RDD and also. That way we are using the Spark context. But a Spark session is something like is the unified entry point for higher level Spark API introduced in Spark 2.0 and onwards. So it what Spark session basically it does, it encapsulates the functionality provided by a Spark context and Hive context in the earlier version of a Spark. So basically it encapsulates. So earlier version for Hive we have to create Hive context, for SQL we have to create SQL context. Now in single Spark session this got encapsulated, and now we have to create a single Spark session, and then our job is done. Okay, and they have features like managing the underlying Spark context and other you can say configuration needed for a Spark application. Whatever the needed, we can do. Provide the unified interaction for structured data throughout the data frame, or executing the SQL query. So we don't have to create the different contexts for like SQL or data frame or Hive. We have one single Spark session. From that only we can create. Okay, like reading the data, executing your SQL query and all, with the help of sparksession.builder.get method, which ensure a single instance across the application. Okay, so that was the basically we have different like they have different in abstractions, label, functionality and all. Okay, so if you are using applications 2.0 version and later, then it is preferable to create a Spark session due to higher level of abstraction and a streamline API for working with the structured and SQL data also. So that's why we are creating a Spark context and a Spark SQL. Now for most of the PySpark application, we are creating the Spark session only instead of a Spark context. Okay, thank you, thanks for watching.